Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Right, we've got a new concept today. It's called the West Ham Fan Podcast. Can you believe that does not exist? Well, I couldn't. I told Charlie I was going to name it that as a joke. Charlie googled it, doesn't exist. We're having that name. Clickbait, here we go. Anyway, I'm going to disappear in a minute and you're going to be left with Ben, Tommy, Luke and Dennis. You've not seen Dennis before, it's his first time on the channel. You've seen the other three plenty of times. This is a new concept, a new series I want to do once a week where two, three, four West Ham fans, not myself and Gonzo, have a little chat. Anything West Ham, we'll stick it on the channel. Hopefully you guys can enjoy it. Now before I go, I can't be arsed recording an outro to this, so please drop a like on the video now, subscribe to the new channel. Anyway, enjoy what's coming up and I'll catch you in a bit. Have a good weekend. Have a good weekend everyone.
So firstly, thank you to Gio for the nice intro that he's recorded, pre-recorded, shall I say. And we've got three magnificent guests. We've got Luke from Three Hammers, we've got Dennis from the West Ham Way, and we got Tommy. How are we doing, lads?
Very well, thanks.
Yeah, I'm good.
Good. Right, so we got some West Ham topics. A lot has happened this week, and we don't want to dive in too much into the Mark Noble story because we know what Mark Noble, sort of represents West Ham and what he means and what he embodies. But the question I want to ask you guys more is, what do you think the future, long-term future of Mark Noble is? We know that he's essentially got a 1-year contract left. Next season, it's extended for 1 more year. But there's obviously some kind of coaching involved. What do you think the long-term future of Mark Noble is at the club after next season?
Who wants to start?
I'll go first. I
Dennis?
don't think, based on the wording, I do not think he's ready to retire. It's very key. He says, I've got a lot more to offer. I just think he realises he's not going to get the game time at West Ham and that the club is moving forward in a different direction, a different style of play that, for example, I don't think he came in and did poorly this season, but there was a definite difference of him in midfield compared to Rice and Soucek. Anyone could see that. I can definitely see him dropping down a couple of leagues to a lower club, maybe go into, again, I'm not sure what their finances are, but go to a Charlton, an Orient or a Southend if they can sort themselves out and see, just enjoying playing football, because I don't think he needs the money. He's had some smart business adventures. I believe he's invested in properties in Spain. Or maybe going to a novelty club abroad. He might go to Scotland. Rangers under Gerrard might have a use for him or something. I don't know. He might go to America. I did joke he might go to China, but I don't think he'd go down well joining Arnie in China, and he has previously said he'd never do that. Equally, I think he definitely long-term should come back as some form of advisor. Not, and this is no disrespect to the stuff that Carlton's doing. Carlton does a great job, but not as a club ambassador. I think he should be a connect between the team and the board. If he's not going to be director of football, I would like to see him or the board take his views on point towards coaching, be a sort of a link between the club, the actual club, the team, and the board, the investors, etc. Because he's very knowledgeable about football, is Mark, and I think he'd be wasted, shaking hands and smiling with fans. Maybe he may enjoy doing that, but ultimately he's got a lot of options, and I'm sure whatever he do, he'll enjoy it. So just enjoy the last year.
What about you, Tom, mate?
I'd have a slightly different take, actually. I think he'll retire. I don't think he'll ever play for another club. I don't think he wants to play for another club. And, he's had an excellent career, let's be honest. Okay, it hasn't been trophy-laden, hasn't been, a lot of glory to come his way, but he's had a great career, since he came into the team. He's been, up until this season, he's been very much a regular in the team. And I think he's probably ready after next season to hang up his boots as regards playing. Now, he may have done it at the end of this season. I don't know what his plans were. He may have just thought he would go retire at the end of this season, but obviously, with everything that's gone on and there's no fans in the stadium, I think it's only correct that he should go for 1 more season and then get the send-off he deserves in front of a packed house. In Stratford, in the final home game of the season. It would have been a travesty if he didn't get that. So I'm really glad he's going to be here for 1 more season. But I suspect he'll actually retire at the end of next season as a player. And I suspect he'll be given an immediate coaching role. It's probably already been sorted, and we'll find out publicly later. But I think he'll go straight into a coaching role at the club. Possibly in the academy, perhaps, but we'll wait and see which exact role it will be, and I think that will suit him down to the ground. I think he'll love that. But yeah, I'm really glad he got the 1 year extension so he can get a proper send off. And I think he'll be at West Ham for a very, very long time. I think one day he'll be our manager, actually.
What about you, mate?
Yeah, I agree with Tommy, actually. I think, he will retire. I don't think he'll play football for another club. I'd like to see him in the academy. I know if I was a young player growing up and you was turning up and Mark Noble was there, obviously it's like seeing this legend, instilled in the great mentality that he's got into the young players. So I think there's a role there. I think he might go away from football for a little while. He might have a couple of years away. He might do some punditry stuff and then he'll come back to West Ham. But I'm more upset that I'll lose my double work. Obviously, I can't do my Mark Noble double work no more if he does retire.
I agree. I do agree. But I think next season is sort of that transition phase that he's still going to be playing, but he's also going to get the coaching experience. And I spoke about it on other channels and whatnot, that it's vital that we keep these kind of characters in our football club. Know what it means firstly to play for West Ham, because obviously we lost Snodgrass, who was a character, and obviously we brought Lingard in, who's another character, and it's important that we keep these characters around, one that knows what it's like to play for West Ham, what it means to play for West Ham, because if we get rid of these characters and we never replace them, then when we do go through a bad slump of form, you rely on those characters to sort of uplift and sort of boost the morale. So I do think it's important that we keep Noble around. Obviously, he's very well liked. Obviously, I'd imagine he's very well liked across the whole changing room. And obviously having that connection, or sort of that pathway between, as I don't know which one of you mentioned, but he'll be the middleman almost between maybe the manager and then the coaching staff and the players. So yeah, I agree. I think Noble will retire next season. I think he would have retired this season had we had fans in and whatnot. But yeah, I fully expect Noble to get a coaching role from next season. I think next season is more of a transitional phase for him. Moving on to other news as well, guys. Fabianski has signed a new 1 year deal. Another player that's extended their contract. And to be honest, looking on Twitter, it's got some mixed sort of opinions, and I'll just give my opinion first. I'm happy that's extended. I'm happy as extended, but there's a big if. If an opportunity presented itself in the summer, say for example Areola, Dean Henderson, whoever, Nick Pope for example, was available, I don't want West Ham not pursuing that opportunity just because Fabianski signed a 1 year deal, because I feel like last year we missed out on Martinez of Aston Villa. And he's been an excellent signing for £18 million. And just because we've got Fabianski tied down to a 1 year deal, I just don't want West Ham to go, oh, well, we've got Fabianski for another year. We'll look at a goalkeeper next year. When if one of those goalkeepers become available, I would like to West Ham to go and sign him. Obviously, as long as we've got a striker in, we got the other players that we actually, we probably need more. What are your guys' thoughts on it? We'll go with Luke first, being he was the last one. What are your thoughts?
Cool, mate. I agree with you, mate. I liked Areola from the first game that he played against us. I thought he was fantastic, but he's obviously a PSG player, isn't he? So whether we could get him out of PSG, I don't know. I like Johnson at is it West Brom? He's a decent goalie as well. I think Henderson and Pope are slightly out of our price range, but they are top goalies. I'm really happy that Fabianski did sign though. I put it to you, is that have we had a better goalkeeper in the last 15 years? Maybe Rob Green was a top goalie. I think Fabianski's been, one of the best goalies to play for West Ham for a long, long time. But yeah, I do hope we do go and sign someone as well, just to, keep him on his toes a little bit as well.
What about you, Tommy, mate?
Yeah, have to agree, really. He has been brilliant for us, and he's having a bit of a revival this season. Last season, he didn't quite hit the heights. He had some wobbles. Form dipped a little bit. Not that he was bad by any means, but wasn't as brilliant as he'd been the previous season, where he was absolutely one of the best keepers in the league. But he's had a bit of a revival this season. So clearly he's not, a keeper who's finished. So I'm glad he's signed a new 1 year deal, but I agree with both of you. I think this summer we should be looking to bring a keeper in who would have a reasonable chance of ousting him, actually. Forcing him onto the bench. Because, Fabianski isn't getting any younger, and obviously agility is a huge part of being a goalkeeper. So I don't know if his joints are starting to creak a little bit. Plus, he had those couple of hip injuries.
The two Newcastle boys are quite good as well, actually. The Bradford
Darlow,
and Darlow, if they do go down,
Darlow and
So I think I agree with you. This summer, we really ought to be looking to get someone in, a younger keeper, who potentially would force Fabianski onto the bench. And Fabianski would be a fantastic backup keeper. Absolutely brilliant. I haven't thought too long and hard about possible replacements, but I mean, it shouldn't be a problem. I mean, I think there should be plenty of goalkeepers out there that would fit the bill and would be good enough to do the job. So it's just a question of identifying them and trying to get them for the right price. But I definitely feel like we need to bring in another keeper. But yeah, glad he signed a new 1-year deal. He's still a very competent goalkeeper, Fabianski.
What about you, Dennis? Wait.
Well, to address what you said first, and I think that's exactly what we're going to do this summer. I think we're going to sit there and say, we've got Fabianski for another year. Let's not rock the boat. I know, with the finances that have come out. Also, I think we're going to prioritise other positions. Really, I mean, we need another striker. Like we need a bag on our hip. I'm very high up on Fabianski. Anyone that watches us, our watch-alongs, knows how much I cheer him on. I've even christened him my own nickname. I'm trying to impose on everyone the red wall, because he is a brick wall. You can't get past him at times. There are some of the options you gave. Again, Pope, Henderson. They're not really based on the finances that come out. I can't really see them being on the price range.
Who's the Slavia Prague keeper? We were linked with him.
Sorry? Yeah, I know you're on about
Slavia Prague keeper. Yeah, he's had mixed reviews, but also again, Slavia. I think Slavia are keen to come back on this. They don't want to be seen as a West Ham feeder club, and they've made a couple about Seema. They've made a couple of statements saying, "Look, there is no agreement. It just so happens that we made 2 transfers with you." I mean, there is a keeper that largely could be available. Is the Bologna goalkeeper Fabianski's namesake and compatriot Lucas Skropski. Could be available for £10 million. He could be a very good, definite improvement on Randolph. I've been quite impressed with him every time I've seen him play. He is one of my go-to signers on Football Manager as well. Just going to put that out there. But I'm not one of those that say, "Oh, he's good on Football Manager, he'll be good for West Ham." I know real life is very different. But what I would have liked to have seen with Fabianski, me personally, is give him a 2-year deal for this one reason. I think he's plenty good enough to be our number 1 next year. Equally, I do agree that if there are better options out there, such as Sam Johnston, we should have been on that. I just can't see it happening with the current regime. I would have then loaned out Trot the Championship to let him develop, to see if make or break, can you make it? Then, should he make it, he comes back, he learns everything off Fabianski, mid-season, late season, he replaces him, Trot is our new number 1. Anang can be the third choice backup to replace him / Martin. And then we've got Heji in the youth system, who is very highly rated, but so was Marek Stech, and we never saw him play really outside of cup games. We've had so many foreign prospect goalkeepers that have never come true. I'd like to see just one given a chance, and that's what I would like to see. But Trot may not work out. We can't rely on Trot becoming this world-class goalkeeper, especially when there are other goalkeepers out there. So I think we will need to address this position next season, one way or the other. I can fully see Sullivan and Gold going, well, we got Fabianski for a year. What's the worst that can happen? And then him pick up another hip injury. I do think we need to go for goalkeeper this year. I just simply cannot see us doing it unless someone very cheap comes available. But like if Newcastle go down and Dubravka happens to have a £5 million release clause or something like that, I'm sure they'll go for that. I'm with you though. Dubravka, Darlow, Johnston, all would be quality goalkeepers for us, in my honest opinion.
We were unfortunately linked with Ramsdale as well recently.
Oh, less said about that, the better.
Yeah, let's stay away from him.
Roberto the second.
I think that's a bit harsh to call him Roberto the second. He can make a couple of saves, but yeah, just like I said, in a way, I'm agreeing with all of you, but I just can't see us making a move for a keeper this summer. That's why we've done a 1-year deal. I would have preferred to see a 2-year deal. That way, there's less. That way, you can have the opportunity to loan out Trot. Whereas with a 1-year deal, you might need Trot to fill in.
Well, for all we know, there may be an option on it, so we don't really know.
Yeah, there may be an option, and Randolph might be out the door just to get some finance through in summer if he's not getting first team football. He was literally only signed because he was the only person willing to come that wasn't Roberto. So that was the only reason.
Well, no, he came because it wasn't costing us anything because Borough still owed us money on him. So we basically wrote off what Borough owed us so that we could bring him in for nothing.
Well, there was talk of us going for Butland, who I don't think would have been any better personally. I think Randolph's an okay goalkeeper, just not number one standard for a top 10 Premier League team, which is what we really.
Well, no, he's the backup, and that's what he is.
He's the backup. Yeah, he's the backup. He's what he is. He's good personality. I like him. Just I'm not comfortable with him being our number one again. I still have nightmares. Sunderland away 2017 are still in the back of my mind.
I think with Fabianski, I think what it is that obviously we've seen this season that the injuries are becoming more of a reoccurrence. They're happening more often. And obviously, as you get older, your recovery period is only going to get longer. You could, obviously, it was confirmed today that Ogbonna is going to have a setback, and it's a lot longer than they expected it to be. And a lot of that is due to his age. And obviously, those injuries will happen more often. But obviously, because you're getting older and your body's more fragile, that recovery period will be even longer. And I think West Ham, I just hope West Ham, as you said, just don't go in the summer or agreed with Fabianski and just gone, right, we'll give you a 1-year contract and you will be number one. I hope that if an opportunity does present itself. Before we move on to Manchester United, guys, if you could choose the goalkeeper, like you could sign the goalkeeper, who's your preferred goalkeeper? Let's go with Dennis first, mate. Who's your preferred keeper?
Oh, really depends on your budget. I'm going to play it safe and go Sam Johnson.
Sam Johnson. What about you, Tommy, mate?
Yeah, I'd have to agree, actually. That would be ideal. I think he's got a huge future in the game, and if we could nab him, that would be brilliant, yeah.
Luke?
Areola for me, mate. I think he's fantastic. I do. I think his shot stopping is incredible. I really do. But if you want to throw a curveball out there with non-budget, David De Gea's out of contract at the end of the season.
The interesting thing about that, though, Luke, is listen. I know we're all thinking about keepers and we're thinking about young keepers and stuff. You don't have to go young, even.
Nope.
There would be nothing wrong with getting a really good value, more older, experienced goalkeeper who's 30, 31, 32. No problem with that whatsoever. You can do that with keepers. You can just, patch them in. Yeah, you can still patch them in as you need them. If there was a really, really top-class 32-year-old keeper who was out of contract or was going cheap because the parent club need the money, need to move them on, and we were to get a really, really top-class kind of experienced goalkeeper, if it was an opportunity that came our way, for 8-10 million or something very cheap like that, there's no problem snapping one of those up.
No, not at all, mate.
Well, Skotowski at Bologna almost fits that. Just I wouldn't put him as a top class goalkeeper. I just put him as a very capable goalkeeper.
Yeah, because I remember actually. I remember actually when we were looking for a keeper before Fabianski signed. I was suggesting actually that Romero at Man United. Every time he played, he was the backup. Every time he played for them, he played all the Europa League games, domestic cup games. Every time I saw him, I was impressed with him. And he probably felt like he was never going to get in ahead of De Gea. So I always felt we perhaps a missed opportunity there for us. Sorry, come on. Maybe we missed an opportunity there.
Into a whole different show with that now.
Yeah. I felt we missed maybe an opportunity there. To go in for a really, really top-class experienced goalkeeper that United may very well have been persuaded to part with. So I really liked Romero. So a player like that would be absolutely no problem.
Yeah, talking about Manchester United on Sunday, it looks like they've got a lot of injuries. So if we're going to beat them at any time, now's the time. Do you know what I mean? Looks like Martial could be out injured and maybe Rashford injured. I even saw rumours of Bruno being having a knock and whatnot. Pogba's out. I think they've got quite a lot of injuries. How do you guys see this game going? Firstly, we saw in the FA Cup that we played a back five against them, and despite Ogbonna getting injured, we conceded a goal in extra time. And on the whole, we defended very, very well. And I thought Ben Johnson, when he came on at halftime, had a really good game. When Ryan Fredericks come on, I thought he provided some natural width and some pace in the team. Because I can remember the first half, we couldn't get out, and we didn't really provide anything. We'll start off with you, Luke, mate. What do you think Moyes will do? Do you think he'll revert to a back five, or do you reckon he'll still play a four? And obviously, we know Lingard is not available. And who do you think will come in to replace Lingard?
Yeah, I think that was what I was going to start with. Obviously, no Jesse, Jay Ling's doing these bits. So, yeah, we probably will see maybe Bowen come back in because Bowen hasn't played for the last sort of few games, has he? So we'll probably see him come back in. And he did well, didn't he, in the home game against Man United? He had sort of that Tellers on toast, didn't he, for a little while in that first game. I I think he will go to a back five. He seems to do that, doesn't he, against them top 6 teams. But yeah, I think there's a chance, I think there's a lot of belief in this West Ham team. I think their result last night against AC Milan, the fact that it was 1-1, puts a little bit more pressure on them in the next leg, and maybe they might be thinking about that a bit more. The league's gone, so they're probably thinking, actually, we can win a cup that way and get Champions League that way, even if it does collapse. So, yeah, I think maybe a back five, and we'll see Bowen come back in, I think, potentially.
Tommy, mate, what do you think, United?
Yeah, look, obviously they're in a rich vein of form at the moment. They had an excellent result at City in their last league game. So they're really going great guns at the moment. But, as you said, Ben, they do have a spate of injuries, and to some key players. Like I said, Martial and Rashford won't be risked against us on Sunday. They'll be held back for the second leg. They've got small knocks. Obviously, Pogba's out. So, they've got some issues. So I think this is actually a real opportunity for us to take advantage of that. And I hope we'll be brave enough to do it. Now, I agree with Luke. I think that given that the game's at Old Trafford, I think Moyes will revert to the wing-back system. But I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all, because actually AC Milan, the way they played last night, what they did was they made sure that United couldn't play between the lines, right? So, which is where the likes of Bruno Fernandes can really hurt you. And they did a really good job on Fernandes. He had a very frustrating night. So I think we'll do the same. I think we'll set up with the wing-back system. We'll make sure that we keep it tight and compact, make it difficult for them to create chances, frustrate them. And I think defensively, obviously, we're very well organised, and I think we'll actually be able to do that. The question will be, what can we do going the other way? So that will really ultimately, I think, determine how we fare result-wise. I think it will be very low scoring, actually. I don't think there'll be very many goals in this at all. But I am hopeful, because obviously, look, we're very dangerous at set pieces. No matter who we play, we're the best in the league on set pieces. So that gives me a lot of hope that we can hurt them on those. Again, I agree. I don't know if Bowen will come in. Moyes seems to be a little cold on him at the minute. I think it's because of a dip in form. Definitely Fornells will start this one. 100% Fornells will start. Obviously, Antonio will be up top. The question then will be, who is the other one? Yeah, three. And I know Luke was saying he thinks Bowen. That wouldn't surprise me in the least, for obvious reasons. He offers that kind of defensive help for Sofal. But I'd like to see Benrahma. I mean, look, we have to have something about us on the counter. We have to have one player on there that can do something a little bit different. That can, that turn against Leeds, when he got the ball to feet in midfield, was back to goal. That little spin, and it was magnificent. I just think we're going to need someone with with those quick feet, with that bit of trickery. So I'd rather see Benrahma than Bowen in this one. I think with Bowen, given that his form isn't great, and the fact that, how many people do you need defending really? We're going to have, the 3 centre backs. We're going to have 2 wing backs. We're going to have Rice and Souček. Fornells will be there helping out. I think that's enough defensively. I don't think we need Bowen to be there just so he can do some defensive work. I think that's maybe a bit ultra defensive. So I'd like to see Benrahma, because he brings something a little different, and he could really open the game up for us on the counter. And he has that little bit of pace as well, more so than Bowen, I think. So that's what I'd like to see. And I'm like I say, I'm hopeful. I have a sneaking suspicion, given that as Luke says, they may be going to have one eye on next Thursday, and the injuries that they have, I think will frustrate them defensively. I have a sneaking suspicion that we'll go there and get a result, actually. I think we might just turn them over. It'll be something like a 1-0 or a 2-1 or something. It'll be very tight, very, very low scoring. But I'm very hopeful. I don't know if I want to say confident, but I'm hopeful. I think it's entirely possible we could go there and nick the 3 points. And that would be a magnificent result if we can do that.
Dennis, mate, United away Sunday. What's your
Sorry,
thoughts?
Also, I know this isn't live, but Newcastle have still 0-0 with Villa, so this is
I thought you were going to come in and say they scored. You've told us the 0-0.
Yeah,
no,
okay.
I'm saying it's getting on in the second half now, so it's.
I was going to say, I've got Ollie Watkins in my fancy team, so I fancy a Villa goal. But yeah, that is, I guess, good news for us. Yeah, United away, really sort of, I think you guys have summed it up pretty well. If ever there was a time to beat them, it is now. But this is West Ham. We always have that, and then we don't win. But that is the West Ham of old. Like, again, if you follow us on the West Ham way, this is the West Ham of new. There is a difference, fundamental difference in this season, even if it is just for this season, in that we beat teams that we normally struggle against. We win those games that we would in other seasons, like Sheffield United away, Fulham at home. We would have drawn or even lost those games, but we won those games 1-0.
But just as a kind of a point of contact on that. Sorry for interrupting.
No, it's fine.
We've lost 7 games out of 27 all season. Now, when you consider we lost our first 2, we've lost 5 out of 25.
And three of those are to Liverpool and Man City, which there's no shame in losing those.
We lost to Man City, Liverpool, United, Arsenal, good teams. So to have only lost 5 of our last 25 is stunning consistency for West Ham.
Yeah.
I mean, the only other defeat in there that rankles a bit, I guess, is Newcastle, but we came into that season on a bit of a low. So, it is what it is. Then the Chelsea game was disappointing, and the table could look very different if we had nicked a point there or, whatever. But hey, that's done. Let's not look backwards. I mean, missing Lingard's going to be a big thing for us, though, I think, because his link-up play with Benrahma was unreal. To win that penalty, just go watch it back. It was like watching Tiki-Taka Guardiola Barcelona a little bit there. No, I'm not comparing Moyes to Guardiola. Just saying that passage of play was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. But going back to the point I was making with the West Ham, we don't need to fear Manchester United away. I know this is going to be clipped up with a Curb Your Enthusiasm music if we get spanked 4-0, and I'll welcome that. I'll always, as I said, I've featured on bad West Ham takes. I will always own my mistakes, but we don't need to fear Manchester United, in my opinion. And if Bruno is out, that is nanites, in my opinion, because no Bruno, no Pogba, potentially no Rashford, Martial. Even if Bruno does play without Rashford, Martial, you've got Cavani, who is a great striker, but has been a bit hot and cold for them. And you've got Greenwood, that
Cavani's out.
A very talented player, but his goal
Cavani's out as well. Cavani's out as well.
Cavani's out. Okay, then. Yeah. Well, there we are then. Greenwood, and it would be typical West Ham to have a Greenwood hat trick against us. His only goal of the season has come against us. Oh, he's a bloody good player, but his goal return is not great this year. Famous last words. So again, we should.
I think he's being played out of position.
I don't watch Man United enough to comment.
I think he's a number 9 and he's been played out wide, and Martial is being played at number 9. I'm pretty sure he's a wide player for me, but that's a United problem.
That's a United problem.
I think with Mason Greenwood, we saw his best form last year. Obviously, going off tangent quickly, but Mason Greenwood, I think we saw his best form last year was from that right hand side. And I think because he's very competent on both feet, he could play up front, he could play on the left and play on the right. But I'm expecting something along the lines of Dan James, Bruno. Maybe that Diallo will play as well. He scored his first goal, so either way, they're still going to have some quality.
Some
quality on the pitch, guys. Before we end it,
I just wanted to say one small thing. Sorry, in my preview, is that if we're going to go 5 at the back, Ben Johnson had a stormer of a game at Old Trafford in the FA Cup, and for me, he is one of our most underrated performers. I'm not going to say players because I think we all know how good he is, but his performances. I wrote an article about it on the West Ham Way website. Sorry to plug it. About how he's, in my opinion, it's how football is, football and our approach to it is evolving, and Ben Johnson's testament to that. His attitude's fantic, and I'd love to see him get more game time.
I think if we play wing backs, I think he's a shoo-in.
Yeah, I think Ben Johnson, and I'm with you with the Bowen thing. I've been very impressed with his defensive performance, but if we're going to go 5 at the back, I'd rather play one of Fornells or Benrahma outright where they're not so comfortable, but still ability-wise. And then if it doesn't work, we can bring Bowen on. So that's my final 2 pence. Sorry to interrupt.
No worries, mate. No worries at all. Score prediction. Start with Luke, mate. Score prediction Sunday.
I'm going to be a bit cautious. I'm going to say 2-2, mate. I think we'll score, but I think we'll maybe concede just some sloppy little goals. We've been conceding un-West Ham goals. The Man City goals we conceded, like floaty balls over the top. We've got really good at like defending the floor, and then we've sort of a little bit slacked on balls coming over the top a little bit recently. So I'm going to say 2-2, and I'll be happy with that as well.
Yeah. Tommy?
Oh, sorry, right. I didn't hear what you said.
I thought you froze.
No. I think Luke said something at the same time as you said my name, and I missed it.
No.
I'm optimistic because I see their injuries, and I think they are going to have one eye on Thursday. I think they feel that losing on Sunday to us would not be particularly detrimental to their season, but losing in Milan on Thursday would be. So I'm optimistic. I'm going 2-1 West Ham. If we had Ogbonna and Dawson, I'd go for a shutout. But Diop will start, and Diop, for me, has moments where he just loses concentration. Just falls asleep for a second, and so I think United will score a goal, but I think it will only be one. And I think with our set pieces, our form, our confidence, I think we're going to rock up to Old Trafford and get a famous win. 2-1 West Ham, I think.
What about you, Dennis? Right?
I'm just going to say one thing quickly: is that I think they will be worried about a defeat to us because if they lose, that leaves potentially 3 to 4 points between them and fifth place, and as they know, they did the opposite last year. They came from 5th, 6th to dominate and finish 3rd. So I do think they would be concerned, but it depends what they prioritise. Only Ollie and the team can really know that, not us. I'm going to go a conservative 1-1, but I am going to say that if we wear the black kit, we're winning 1-0. And I'm saying Thomas Souček's going to break his duct. Little stat, I think my friend Karel, give him a shout out, no Czech player in the Premier League had scored more than 9 goals. And Souček's been stuck on 7 for a while, or he's on 9 and it's 11, but he's 2 away and he's been stuck there for a while. So he's always messaging me, asking me, when are you going to give Souček the penalties? He needs to break that record. He deserves it. So I'm going for a Souček goal as well.
Do not give Souček penalties.
He used to take penalties for Slavia Prague.
Oh, did he?
He's got a pretty good penalty record as well, mate.
Yeah. But on that note, I'm feeling Tommy's optimism. I'm feeling it. I'm going 2-1 West Ham as well. I am. I think we're going to do it. I don't know. I think with their injuries, I'm just hoping that we take this. We're a little bit more courageous on the ball, like we was against Man City. I feel like at times against Man City, we took the game to them, and obviously we've had elements like the Liverpool game where on reflection now, right, with all the results they've had, we should have just gone for it because we probably could have, got a win. So I'm going to say 2-1 West Ham. I'm feeling the same as Tommy. I'm feeling optimistic. Right, Luke, where can the lovely viewers of Hammers Chat Forum find you, mate?
The Free Hammers, mate. If you've not been over there, come and check us out. We do a podcast, and I try to do a video every day of the week now, inspired by Gonzo, the great guy who does this channel. So, check us out on the Free Hammers. Cheers.
Lovely. Tommy, where can they find you? I know you don't have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You should really consider it.
Mate. Not going to happen. I'm absolutely not committing to having my own channel. You'll find me whoring myself out to every other channel. But I'm not going to have one of my own. But I'm on Twitter. I am on Twitter, and I'm constantly talking West Ham on there. I don't do like politics on there and all that rubbish, so don't worry. It's just I love talking about West Ham on there, and so I'm at Tomster36.
Love that, mate.
Dennis, I will absolutely follow everyone back. By the way, I'm not one of those people that follow and follow. I will follow you back if you follow me. Have a look at my following count. You'll see.
Nicely balanced.
Dennis, mate, where can they find you, buddy?
Well, I've mentioned it a couple of times, but on the West Ham Way, we've got a weekly fan's voice where there's a menagerie of people will come on, and then every game we got to watch along. We've even got a lad from Australia join us who gets up at 3 a.m. to watch it along with us, and some of his analysis is amazing. Equally, sometimes we have arguments, me and him. It's pretty great. Equally, I'm on Twitter. It's my first name, last name, so Dennis 2 N's and Watlin. And I'm sad to say sometimes I do delve into politics. Let's agree to disagree sometimes is what I like to say, though. So
yeah, it doesn't work out on Twitter. It's just too much hassle.
No, it's either one. There's no middle ground. It's one extreme or the other. And I'm trying to bring back the middle ground.
Twitter gets really vitriolic if you start talking about.
Yeah,
politics.
that's a subject for another day. But guys, it's been a pleasure doing the first one on the Hammers Chat forum. Hopefully, as you know, Gio said, this may be a weekly occurrence. So to all the lovely viewers at Hammers Chat forum, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you drop a like on this video. Make sure you check out the links on, I presume, will be in the description of all the people that have taken part in today's video. And we'll catch you next time. See you later.